Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday. It is 12 noon. I am Deborah Porter, and here on the Moms Mentoring Circle Facebook page, wanting to share a couple of tips with you today. I want to share 5 tips to transition from summer back to school. I know it's July, but it won't be July for much longer. So I'm Deborah Porter with Moms Mentoring Circle, where we support at-home moms with systems and strategies to organize their lives, their homes, their children, their schedules, for the purpose of freeing them to then go after their own goals, dreams, and desires. So welcome. Won't be before you long. I know it's summer and we are enjoying all that means. So I just wanted to share these few tips because I really do want to get this on your radar, because it is already mid-July, probably past mid-July at this point, being the 24th. So summer is kind of right behind you, sneaking up behind you. So you want to at least have some things in mind. You want to begin to plan your strategy and have a system in place so that you're not caught with the back to school panic. Last week, if you remember, we talked about the 4 stages of summer, being lazy summer days, T- how many days back to school, finding your groove. And then the last one was the back to school panic. So we want to avoid that. And so that's why I'm going to give you these 5 tips to transition from summer back to school. I know it's July, but we have to remember that we're nearing the end of July. And depending on where you live, depending on where you live and when your school system starts, this is really on you as of right now. So the 5 tips that I want to give you will deal with sleep schedules, talking positively about school, setting up goals, finding a homework spot, and then starting to get organized. So for the first point, sleep schedules, you really want to start now, kind of dialing back bit by bit, maybe 5-10 minutes every night, even if you want to do it that small, or half hour. But however you want to do it, you do want to start scaling back on how late your children are staying up so that they will begin to naturally be more awake in the morning. It will be more challenging to have children that right up to school are going to bed at 11 p.m., midnight, or even later, to wake up and have a smooth transition and process in the morning getting ready for school. And as moms, we know those morning rituals are really made better or worse many times based on how much sleep the kid has had, and us, how much sleep we have had as well. So my first point to you would be start with adjusting those sleep schedules, those bedtimes. It's also my suggestion that you don't have any TVs or devices in the room. That light that comes off of those, and also just the time spent on those devices and watching TV, steals from sleep. So you want to try and have your children recognize that their bedroom is for sleeping. And so all those extra devices and TVs and stuff are in other parts of the house. So that's the first point. Second point, well, the other thing I want to say before I move on to the second point is that whether you have a pre-kindergartner going to school or a rising senior going to high school, their needs will be different for back to school. Most of what I'm sharing today really is going to be universal across the board. But obviously there are more specific things needed for a child going to school for the first time, or a kindergartner, as opposed to a high school student. The things we share today will really be able to be used and modified across the board. And always, if you need more specific support, more specific strategies or a plan, that we're always available here to support you with that, and that you can always reach out to us in that way. Okay, so first point was sleep schedules. Second point is to talk positively about school and the upcoming school year. Begin to, talk to your child about what classes they're going to be taking, what have they heard or know about their new teacher. Maybe if your child is moving into a new building, maybe from elementary school to the middle school or the junior high school, talking about things like that. Be sure to watch your conversation and the words that you choose when you're talking about school too. I had a situation myself with let's just say one of my children, when they were going from a half day kindergarten to all day first grade. And I remember just in conversation with my husband or with other moms talking about all day, this child's going to be going to school now all day. That's really going to be something. I'll have the whole day to get stuff done. And oh my gosh, but that child's going to be gone all day. And I'm talking about this for a good chunk of the summer. So when it came time for school, that kid was freaking out because that kid thought, I'm going to be gone all day. And to a kid, all day really means like till bedtime. And so it took a minute for those first couple of weeks for me to understand what the anxiety was about and realizing that I really had contributed to the anxiety by really talking about this whole all day thing and almost seeming slightly anxious myself, although I wasn't. But kids kind of pick up on things that we're saying and internalize them. So I would just encourage you, be mindful that little ears are always listening, even when you think they're playing, even when you think they're preoccupied with their own TV show or their own toys or devices. They're always listening. So make sure that your conversation about school is positive and it's upbeat and it's exciting and you're so proud of them and you're so happy for what they're doing, because they will pick up on even the slightest hint of something negative, especially if it's something they really haven't bought into 100%. So they can kind of tag on to that and really it can be stressful. Trust me. All right, so point 1 was sleep schedules. Point 2 is talking positively about school. Point number 3 is begin setting goals with your child for the upcoming school year. And not only grades, right? Goals can be in many areas as our children are heading off to a new school year. Goals can surround things like leadership opportunities or new things they want to try. Maybe you have a student that wants to try a new sport or sport for the first time, or cheerleading, or they want to run for class office. So sit down with your child. You can do it in vision board style, kind of introduce your child to vision boards. You can do it in prayer list style, or I'll be praying for you about these things. But begin to kind of get them excited and thinking about the exciting things that are waiting for them this school year and the new opportunities that are available to them, and help them set some goals in that as well. All right, so we've got sleep schedules, talking positively about school, setting goals with your child. We've got 2 more points we want to cover. Finding a homework spot. This is a big deal for me. I've always thought it important that children know that when they have homework to do, there is a designated location for them. And kids are different. And when your child gets to high school, they may decide for themselves to pick their own spot, which may be their room. However, hey Vaughn, how are you? I always recommend having a specific and set aside homework spot for your children. Now, it may not be a homework room or something that elaborate. It may be the kitchen table. The kitchen table for certain hours may be the designated homework spot. But I would encourage you, if you do have an extra room in your home, whether it be an office, a guest room, I would encourage you to turn at least part of that room into a homework area, a small desk. How are you doing? It's good to see you on here, Yvonne. A small desk. We had a guest room in one of the homes we lived in, and what we did was we cleared out that whole closet, put a desk in that closet. It was narrow enough that it fit in the closet with all of their supplies for homework, the computer. And so when they were done with homework, that closet closed and it again became a guest room, had a pull-out sofa, so it was used for many other things. But again, if you have an area like that in your home, that would be great. If not, you can always keep all of the supplies and things that they would need for homework in a type of tub that you can then pull into the kitchen or dining room, wherever they're doing homework. And the purpose for having a designated area is it keeps the things focused. You know where they are when they're doing their homework. So doors have to remain open or TVs and devices off or in another location. But it just helps keep everybody focused on when it's homework time, where they're going to be. And again, seniors and high school students may determine, you know what, I need to be by myself. I need quiet. And they may choose, another location. But this is my suggestion for children that are younger. The 5th point is start getting organized. And when you're starting to get organized, really what I'm talking about here are school supplies. You don't really yet need to start thinking about clothing. In my opinion, I will talk more about school clothes shopping next week. Because before you even start thinking about school clothes shopping, what you really have to determine is what still fits, what doesn't fit, what can we give away, what do we have to throw away, what do they actually wear from what's in their closet. Students and children, their styles change, what they want to wear changes. Hey, Morgan. So you don't want to yet run out and buy a bunch of clothes. Plus, it's still summer. So for the first several weeks, depending on where you live, the kids are really still going to be wearing summer clothes. So you really do not need school clothes right now. But you do want to start shopping and thinking about school supplies, because here the early bird really does get the worm. The sales for school supplies happen early. Now, the sales for school clothing go on because those school clothes that don't sell right those first few weeks then go on the clearance rack. So either way, for school clothes, it's a win-win. School supplies, you really do want to begin looking at and shopping for those. I'm sure schools are making those lists available now if they haven't already. You can think about doing one big day of, school supply shopping for everybody. If you have a student that really doesn't care, doesn't need a particular color, or doesn't need a particular theme for their school supplies, that's fantastic, because then you can just go and kind of buy whatever they need yourself. So think about beginning to get the process of school supplies, backpacks, lunch supplies, getting all those things so that the back to school panic does not kind of hit your house all at once. The other thing that I mentioned last week that I'm going to mention again this week, if you have not made the doctor's appointments for your child, for dentists or doctors for shots or checkups for sports examinations and all that, please call your doctors and do that now. It is going to become more and more difficult to get in on those schedules and get in on those doctors' calendars as the time goes on. So if you take nothing away from the live today, or at least at this moment, because you can always come back and watch the replay, please contact your doctors, make those appointments so that you've got those in the books. All right, so real quickly, the 5 tips for back to school were: start adjusting sleep schedules, talk positively about school, try not to bring up things like, well, that teacher last year, she just got on my nerves, I just didn't understand. Try to let that go. Really speak positively about school in the upcoming school year. Begin setting goals with your children. Allow them to even start creating a vision board. That can kind of be a really fun final summer activity or nearing the end of the summer activity. Vision boards are fantastic, especially for visual learners. It keeps their goals and the things that they are really aiming for right in front of them on a daily basis. The 4th point was finding a homework spot. This really does become very helpful, because your kids come home and they instantly know where to go, where to put their belongings, and where to get started doing their homework, if they choose to get a snack first or whatever the system is in your house. And again, if you need help with those systems and support creating those systems, please reach out to us. I will put a link in the comment section where you can reach out to me. You can get directly on my calendar and we can talk a little bit more about how this will look in your house. It's really great to be able to get the systems in place before the school year starts or as it's starting, because it can allow the whole school year to go much more smoothly. Yvonne says, love the vision board idea. Yvonne, it's a great thing to kind of involve our kids in. It's kind of a newer thing. I really didn't know about vision boards when my children were younger, but I love the idea of involving them in that and giving them something to kind of put together for themselves. Kids will buy into things that are their idea. So as they determine and set up this vision and these goals for themselves, I think attaining them becomes a bit easier because they want to at that point. Okay, so finding a homework spot was point number 4. And point number 5 is starting to get organized. Begin gathering those school supply lists and just set aside a time to just kind of get out there and get it done. I always found, for me, going to get the school supplies, if I was not bringing the children with me, I did it like later in the evening, after dinner, way after people were getting home from work, and generally it wasn't as crowded. So begin organizing in that way. I'm going to talk next week about school clothes shopping. You really do not need to be doing that right now, and I really do want to give you some helpful hints about school clothes shopping and really using that as a time to have your child, and you help your child organize their closet so that the stuff that's in there is the stuff that they're going to wear, and they're not just kind of, having to rifle through a bunch of clothes that they're no longer wearing, either don't fit, they don't like, or really need to be thrown out or given away. Okay, so those are the 5 tips today for transitioning from summer back to school, back to summertime. You guys enjoy your July, and I will be in touch. Have a great day. The link will be in the comments if you need further support for strategies for your own home. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.